Right then, are we live? We are live. We are live. Welcome, good evening. It's the Daily Maguire. Soon to be the greatest daily football show on planet Earth to match the heavyweight name that is the Daily Maguire. Come on, man. Anyway, what's on the agenda for today? There was a few things, so we're just going to run through slight little parts about what Carra said on Monday Night Football and Ten Hag's response. Just looking into a little bit deeper than just the kind of surface level crap that you read and that's been regurgitated all day. So yeah, talk about Carragher. And obviously Bruno Fernandes, which is probably pretty much every single show. Because there's so much to delve into with Bruno. And it, like, the one thing you do have to give him credit for, it's a very interesting thing to analyse Bruno Fernandes. Just as a football thing. So we're going to analyse Bruno as a football thing. Go over a few points in regards to the heat that Ten Hag's getting, which is justified. But just to balance it out slightly, just in regards to how bad every single Manchester United manager has looked. So, how much do we put on the weight of Ten Hag and how much do we put on the weight of the system that he's been a part of? Yeah. And look forward to the Forest game. Maybe have a little bit of word about that. And just talk about what we might be able to see different. But we all know that's not going to be the case. So let's crack on with what Carragher said. And it's quite interesting because Carragher brings up this very obvious tactical point. Or just if you've just got a pair of eyes, you see the pitch when Manchester United play and there's this huge chasm in midfield. So finally, after however 7 months of the season, Monday Night Football's focusing on the huge, massive gap, the desert, the wasteland, which is the middle of Manchester United's field. And what's interesting about it is, because we've seen Ten Hag's Manchester United this season and last season when Martinez was injured towards the end, because we've seen this pattern repeat over and over and over again, his unwillingness to change this ineffective but over exuberant attacking front five when they press in, and his unwillingness to play in a compact style with a compact midfield where the ball transitions through the midfield. Now, just one point on what Carragher mentions is, what he didn't mention was, if this midfield, if we look at it as a highway, if cars are not allowed to go onto a highway, if there's a divert sign when you try and go down the midfield highway, eventually people are going to stop even bothering going down that route. They're not even going to bother driving down that road anywhere near it. And that's what's happened with Manchester United's midfield. We know that it's not a place for transition. Like, it's not a area where we go in to out. We don't use a central space whatsoever. So then it becomes a team of two halves, and that's something that's happened from pretty much get-go with Ten Hag. He has this the forward five, they don't actually press per se. The forward five, they're just high. So they just stay high. It's not like this undulating in and out and getting back into shape and then pressing high. It's just they stay high. So these are signs of players that are fatigued, that aren't actually listening to or don't want to take on instruction, right? But fatigue in the tactics and the what's being asked of them physically. So you've got a forward five that just stay pretty high predominantly whenever there's build up. You see Bruno. Well, this is what Bruno's been doing for his whole Manchester United career. He will just get into the box instantly. He's just looking to be that second striker. He has no interest in build-up play because he can't do it. So there's many reasons for this huge chasm in the middle of midfield. When you are playing with Maguire and Varane, who are more just traditional centre-backs, who are both pretty okay on the ball when given time and space, they're not real press high, retreat. They're not very athletic centre-backs, right? So you have this unathletic back line and this forward five that are sick of kind of like retreating to come back. So they're just staying up, laziness, right? Have no interest in getting involved in build-up. And that's what causes this huge chasm. You can never be compact when the front five have no interest in actually getting involved in build-up. So forget the instances that Carragher pointed out where we're going and we're trying to press and whatnot. Think about it even in build-up. So as our back seven, right, keeper, back four, and then say Casemiro and Mainu, as the play's being built up and they're trying to build something, right, trying to get this baby of an attack, like try and grow it into something. They know it. As soon as the ball hits the front four in Bruno and Højlund and Rashford and Garnacho, boom, it's gone, right? That attack is done for. So all this build up, as soon as you give it to them, that front four will eat up that ball and the chance will be gone. Whether it's a goal, an attempt, a turnover or a save, the action is happening very, very suddenly. So then it creates this huge disconnect. And the player profiles are completely different. So if the team, it can be completely split in half. You have Onana, Dalot, Varane, Lisandro, Shaw, Mainu and Casemiro. There's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. Talk about legs and this with Casemiro. The reason why Casemiro looks like he hasn't got any legs is because every time the ball goes past Casemiro to a more advanced position onto the field, the ball is inevitably coming back towards him within 5 to 8 seconds of him relinquishing the ball. For that back seven, it must be like playing against a brick wall because it just keeps coming back. And that's where fatigue sets in, mental fatigue. I can't be asked doing this again, constantly giving these boys up. Do you know what I'll do? I'll stay further back and start launching balls. Because why am I going to keep trying to press higher up the pitch if inevitably the chance is going to get squandered? We're not going to take care of the ball. These players in front of me can't take care of the ball. And that's where we end up. And so it's interesting that Carragher talks about it and how Ten Hag is obviously batting it away. Interestingly, in Ten Hag's press conference, he did state that Carragher had a point in the first 20 minutes. The back four or the back line didn't push up, so we weren't compressed. But we are never compressed. We are set up for big spaces on a big pitch like Old Trafford and to play into the strengths of a Bruno Fernandes, of a Rashford, of a Garnacho and a Højlund. The player profiles that Ten Hag has picked, they've been picked. It's very obvious. So if you've got these speedsters that are just at any given moment, they're just looking forward. They've been told the Manchester United way is attack, 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 forward, forward, forward. So this is where we end up in this completely disjointed team. You've got a back seven that are trying to actually work through the game and work into the game, and who are pretty responsible even defensively for the amount of shots that that they're conceding. It's once you get past that, and we have to be able to look at it as two sections. What section needs sorting out? What section provides us with the most headaches through the 90 minutes as the game is being played? Where are the problems? Where is the creation not happening? Where are these patterns not being played out? Where are we not that compact? Because I'll tell you what, as a back four and a defensive two, we're not that bad. We are quite compact. It's not, the spaces aren't so insane. But then when you've got Bruno Fernandes that just wants to completely negate build-up play and has no interest in playing in the 10 space, when you have Bruno Fernandes getting onto the final line with Højlund, with a Rashford and with a Garnacho, for example, then that space, that chasm in midfield just grows. Like these eights, these attacking eights, or this lone 10, however you want to see our midfield, they're there to provide transition. It's such a massive aspect of football, and they're there to recycle the ball in the final third, so we can create sustained pressure and we can mentally fatigue the opposition. The opposition will have a bite at the cherry every 5 minutes against Manchester United. So yeah, when we talk about we need to get rid of Varane, we need to get rid of Casemiro, I think people need to be careful for what they wish for. I think these personalities are massively important. And this dynamic, brute force, front four quartet is where these issues lie. So if we get into Ten Hag then, so he's coming under a lot of heat. Now, we're not interested in whether he's the right man because we already have those answers. We're not interested if he's given discipline in the right areas because we already know that he hasn't. We're not interested in his tactical awareness or his courage or his tactical courage, there we go, because we know that that's not there. So he's being analysed just to the nth degree. We know all the flaws and the issues with him. But the one thing that we need to balance out the slander that Ten Hag's getting now is the fact that every single manager post-Ferguson, and even Ferguson under the Glazers, has looked shite. Now, Van Gaal, who, for me, was getting towards the best, he was the most successful, in my opinion, from what I saw on the pitch, right? And even him towards the end, it was getting very tiresome and boring as such. That could be to do with the quality of player. But the point being is that we still have to look at Ten Hag under the Manchester United umbrella, right? Under the microscope of of Glazer control. We still have to give him that. We still have to balance it out now. Does that balance out the scales? No, it doesn't. Because a lot of things that Ten Hag has done have been singularly. They have been singularly on him, right? It's a like individual case. Of course, there are things that could be done better under the Glazer regime, but these are managerial issues that Ten Hag has come up against. These are things of courage, the things that are happening on the pitch with the players that he's got. So it's just good to mention that Ten Hag should have that kind of. We should acknowledge that he still is another one of the managers that has looked worse than what he probably is under this regime. But that doesn't stop us from feeling how we feel about Ten Hag or about the end of this whole regime. Ten Hag is the martyr for the end of this. He has come in probably the most capable and at his peak in terms of age and tactically and discipline and coaching, but yet he has failed very slowly and methodically just how he has gone about his job here at Manchester United. Being disciplined off the field, but not being disciplined on the field. That's how I feel Ten Hag will be remembered. Adding discipline off the pitch in very closed scenarios is a lot easier. Making decisions on the whim, off instinct, in the middle of games, being under pressure, making courageous decisions, playing in a courageous way. That's what Manchester United need. I think against Nottingham Forest we're going to see much of the same. I don't understand how things can be different. This team's played like this for months and months and months. And some might argue for the whole tenure of Ten Hag. Yes, maybe some players had purple patches last season. We had some luck. But this is not even the beginning of the end for Ten Hag. We're very much in the depths of the end movie for Ten Hag. And it's a shame because as Manchester United manager, it's about charisma, it's about being a politician in the right way because you're basically representing a whole nation as such. It's about being able to handle big players, it's about to handle youth team players. It's about making everyone feel like they're included, even if they're not. It's about standing for something. If you want to talk about Manchester United DNA, don't get enamoured with flying wingers and attack. Like you're going to be able to fit that into the modern day football. But be obsessed with the courageous element of Manchester United's DNA. Being courageous in football matches. But maybe in modern day football, being courageous is playing triangles in the centre of midfield. Being able to play out, being able to transition up the field methodically. Maybe the new Manchester United DNA can be getting to the byline, can be getting the balls across. Maybe the new United DNA doesn't focus on balls in the air. The quickest speedsters that we can find on the wings. Maybe when David Moyes came in to Manchester United and said we need to be more like Manchester City and everyone laughed him out of the park. Maybe we need to be even more like Manchester City and start playing like them as well. Peace.